Portland is an absolutely beautiful place to live. Within the United States, Portland is known as one of the most creative, vibrant, and artistic cities. It's known for its natural beauty. We're about an hour away from the mountains and about an hour away from the ocean. Our city, by American standards, is a large city. It's about 2 million people. So you have that benefit of an international airport, of shopping, of a diverse community where there are immigrants from around the world that come and make this place their home. It's home to major companies like Nike, like Intel, Adidas's US headquarters, major research universities and healthcare facilities. And you have all those benefits. And at the same time, you're so close to nature. Living in Oregon, living in Portland is about being able to be outside almost any day of the year. We have 4 distinct seasons, and it never gets so hot or so cold you can't be outside. We get snow occasionally. It's usually gone the day after it falls. So being outside in stunning forest, if you see pictures of our campus, it's nestled in woods. It looks like a giant park. Our dorms look out at towering cedar and pine trees, and it's just a stunning place to be able to call home. Being on the West Coast, it's not typical. There aren't very many boarding schools that are on the West Coast. And I know that there's a lot of families that often think, oh, if I want to go to college on the East Coast, I have to go to boarding school on the East Coast because that's what colleges are looking for. And honestly, having formerly worked in university admissions, colleges are looking for geographic diversity. There's a lot of boarding schools on the East Coast. There aren't very many on the West Coast. And being able to say, I had this different cultural experience in Portland, Oregon, sets students apart. And roughly about 40 to 45% of our students each year go to college in the Northeast. About 40% stay on the West Coast, and the remaining 20% either in the middle of the country or they go internationally. So being in Oregon opens a lot of doors, both for student recreation, for student experiences, but also when it comes time for pursuing what may come after college. We have an international reputation for the strength and quality of our science research programs at Oregon Episcopal School. Every student in grades 9, 10, and 11, and some students in grade 12 each year will complete their own independent science inquiry project, which puts students in the driver's seat to create a question, to sit with that question for an extended period of time, to research it, to try things, to fail, to try something again, and then create a presentation, and then present their research to a jury of professional researchers and scientists. The second thing that makes it really special is that every student does this. This is not a research project that's reserved for a select few students each year. It's a community bonding experience. And so you see in these science research projects where you give student agency, you give them that opportunity to go deep into a topic that they're curious about, and see that spark come alive for them. I've seen students do incredible projects that go on to international competitions studying the microbiome of horses that are raised on different types of farms and the different things they'll eat. I've seen students write a computer program that tries to do real-time interpretation of American Sign Language that also goes on to an international competition, does quite well. At the same time, I see students do research projects on trying to create an instant noodle that cooks just a little bit faster, because that's the thing that student is really curious about. What I love about OES, having that as a signature program, is that model, that method of having students engage in something and go through that iterative process of trying something over and over again and presenting it formally, and that rigor of it isn't limited to the sciences. You see that happen in the arts. You see it in English, you see it in history, you see it in religion, you see it in our clubs and activities. So that model of inquiry where students come up with an idea, they create some new knowledge, they try connecting different ideas, they commit to a plan of action, they reflect on it, and then they try it again, is a really powerful tool for developing lifelong learners. We create that structure and that permission for students to try new things. And it really turns out some pretty beautiful opportunities for our students. Our literary journalism projects is another unique opportunity for our students, another signature program. Students in grade 11 spend almost most of their school year in we call a literary journalism project, their English class, writing a magazine-length article where they pick a topic in the community that's important to them. Maybe it's the role of soccer or football, and children's or youth access to that sport. Maybe it's using a particular type of cuisine as a form of cultural diplomacy. And students will spend a lot of time interviewing people in the community, writing a draft, going out, interviewing somebody else, writing a draft, editing it down, and going through that process and understanding learning and work as a process. And then they complete magazine-length articles that are incredible quality. We submit them to international competitions, and they tend to do pretty well. What I love seeing in those is the diversity of interest, where student voice, student curiosity really shines through, and seeing students be so proud of that they were able to have that opportunity to do something that was really unique to them. The final experience I would say that's a really special signature for OES is our Winterim program. Winterim is a hallmark of our experiential education program, and experiential education in and of itself at Oregon Episcopal School is truly a signature. Every student each year will complete a Winterim course. It happens roughly 10 days before spring break. We take off from regular classes and we do deep dive experiential learning. These Winterim classes are co-developed in many cases between students and teachers, and you really see teachers, their passions and their curiosities come out. These classes could be on our campus, they could be within the city of Portland, around Oregon, could be across the United States, and also internationally. For students is again really powerful to see that model of learning through something real in the world, to have the opportunity to find a class and find a connection with students from different grade levels, with teachers they maybe have never had before. I think if you talk to OES students, I think you'd say, what's your favorite experience at OES? Winterim might be one of those things that is often mentioned. An opportunity to really again have student interaction, student voice, and participating with teachers developing those classes is we're really proud to be able to offer that. OES was founded as a boarding school 155 years ago, and we've been a boarding school ever since. Boarding is the core of who we are at OES, emanates out from that boarding culture and that boarding tradition. So the nature of our advisories, where our advisors stay with students for 4 years, comes from that. The nature of having a campus that is open on the weekends is part of that, where day students come back to campus in the evenings and the weekends. Even our physical activity requirements mirror what you find at schools that are predominantly boarding schools as well. Our boarding students, we have the greatest duty of care for them. Every faculty member has a weekend that they're assigned, and they plan an activity for our boarding students. It could be going to the zoo, it could be shopping, it could be a Portland Trailblazers game, or a Timbers game, or hiking. So what I love about that is that our boarding program, while it's small, it is not isolated. It does not stand alone, as they are part of everything that we do. And so around shorter breaks, we have what we call a backyard exchange program. So maybe you stay in the Portland area with one of our day families. And that we have a lot of families that open up their homes to that, and students who take advantage of that. Last year in Portland, we had an unusual weather event where we had an ice storm, and our campus lost power for a little while. And we put out a message to our day families and said, we need homes. We need warm places for our boarding students for a few nights, maybe up to a week. We don't know how long this ice is going to last. And the outpouring of support for people who are willing to take in students with no notice. We had, I think, close to 200 families that immediately said, yes, absolutely, send 5 over to me. It was a really great sign of, I think, again, that level of care that we take when it comes to our boarding community. Yes, they're a smaller proportion of our community than some schools, but they are the heart of our community in many ways as well.